Hey, it's Shane with Straight Arrow Adventures, and we're out here in Mammoth Lakes, California, and we are camping, dispersed camping, in an area that has had a prescribed burn in the last couple of years. And you might be able to see it behind me. But the trees look kind of charred and brown leaves at the bottom. Well, there's a reason for that. So what they do is there's a layer of fuel that I went and dug with my foot that's about 4 inches thick. Fuel is broken up pine needles and broken branches and everything else, and there's a bunch of stuff out there. Okay, so this is the forest floor where it's been burned. There's dirt. Half an inch down. Half an inch down, there's dirt. Let's show you what it looks like on the non-burnt side. What happens is if that continues to build and gets deeper and deeper, it will make the fire hotter and hotter and hotter, and it will kill all of the trees that it comes by. Most of these trees aren't dead. It's just that the lower leaves have been burnt and singed, so they are dead, but the tree's going to keep growing and be just fine. Well, in this area, they did a prescribed burn a couple of years ago, which I love. I love prescribed burns, and because they keep that forest clean. Why they're doing it is because they want to make a donut around Mammoth Lakes to protect the town, so that if a fire were to come through, it would hit this area and die out. Because if a fire were to hit here this year, let's say, there's not much for it to burn. You see, fire travels on the ground and then burns the trees up, and so it wouldn't destroy this area, which is great. And also it would protect the town of Mammoth. So they're making a donut around Mammoth to try and protect the town in case a forest fire does come. Beautiful idea. Now, I learned this because yesterday we were out on a ride going to Glass Creek. I did a video on that about camping there, but we went to Glass Creek and I saw some of the CAL FIRE guys, the CDF guys out there, and they were cutting down some of the dead trees. They were taking down trees to take the dead ones out so that they could take out fuel from the area. So I stopped to talk to them and said, hey, what you guys doing? They told me about the donut that they're making and everything else. So we're out here to check out and see what the CAL FIRE guys have been doing in thinning some of the trees before they do their controlled burn. And what they were doing was cutting down old stuff. So they cut down this one yesterday. We saw them doing this. And then they also cut down a much bigger one. And I saw them counting the rings on them to see how old they were. But this bad boy, that's quite a log. Look at that thing. Big tree. And one of the things that I love about this type of tree, this is a Jeffrey pine, is smelling it. I'm not kidding. I know this sounds goofy. I'm looking around seeing nobody's staring at me to get up here and whiff this pine tree, but if you look at this bark right here, you smell it? It's kind of like French vanilla. I love it. And the wind smells of it. I love Jeffrey pine forests, so excuse me. I dig these trees. Jeffrey pines are one of my favorite. You'll know them, they have this big old gnarly bark on them. And if you get to the underside and you rip it off, it's pretty cool. And I'm going to estimate that this big one right here was quite a bit over 100 years old. When I counted some of the rings, I counted about 6 inches, and then I just went out from there. Big old tree. And it's a shame that they had to cut it down, but they did it. It died, and so you got to trim it so that it doesn't become a hazard later. So I'm out here driving through the trails, and what do I see but a abandoned tent trailer? Let's check it out. Chipmunks seem to like it. You know what? At this camp, yes, they left the trash of the trailer. I get that. But they also left something that I didn't bring up, which you never ever do. Don't burn pallets. You know why you don't burn pallets? Real simple. Let's check it out. Because every single one of those nails, screws, is going to be left out here in the forest for us to drive over and puncture our tires and everything else. Never, ever use pallets. Check this out. They removed the license plate so you don't know whose it is. That is disappointing. But you're gonna run into all sorts of things, and there's no way that I can clean this up. There's no way. Dwight cannot pull a tent trailer like that. But we gotta keep it clean. That's a trip. Beautiful spot out here. I mean, check it out. Back here in the trees. And then what happens is stuff gets dragged around. So this was the tongue jack that bent from that wreck. I'm gonna take it back to it and put it in the trailer. Okay, so I spent about an hour and a half, 2 hours looking for the CDF guys, the California Department of Forestry guys. Could not find them. Showed you some of the logs that they did cut down that were dead or dying that they're trying to clean up. But I thought I'd show you another thing, and that is the other people that are working to clean up the forest, and they get a benefit from it. So this is sale timber. Okay, so this is wood that they've cut down. Some of it's good, some of it isn't. You can see that some of it's rotten on the inside. And so what that does is they end up doing this to it. And that's a big old burn pile of the stuff that they couldn't use. And there are a couple of those out here. But all this is meant to keep the forest healthy, because if the forest overgrows, then when lightning does strike, because fire is inevitable, it's not if, it's when, fire will come. And so what you try to do is you try to limit the impact that the fire has, so that the fire might burn quick and not as hot, and then go away and be gone, and then everybody's good. So they are working to do that. I applaud the CDF for their efforts out here in cleaning up this forest. And they did it on the other side. Okay, so unfortunately I couldn't meet with the CDF guys. I couldn't find them, but something that I did see was I was coming through the Mammoth Loop, and you see all these stacks. CDF has been working hard to make sure that this forest is maintained and there isn't a lot of fuel on the ground, just for the chance that the fire does happen, it'll be easier to put out. So even though we didn't get to interview the CDF guys on camera, I did interview them. And they said their cleanup is to make a donut around Mammoth so that the town doesn't burn down if a sizable fire strikes. And I thank them for that. If you enjoyed the video, please like, follow, and share. It helps me out and it helps the channel continue so that we can come and make some of these adventures and keep making more of them. All right, have a good one.